Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to your HMG weekly wrap up. Yeah. It is Friday, but I'm going to tell you right now, for the last 10 minutes, it has felt like a Monday. I did a rookie. I'm going to throw myself on it, but I did a rookie mistake. David and I are sitting here chatting. We're thinking we're live. And we're not. I forgot to hit the go live button on it. So that's gives you any indication of how my morning's going. So we're sitting here talking. We're like, God, nothing's working. And he's like, well, we're not getting any comments or nothing. I was like, what the hell's going on? Oh, because I didn't click the go live button.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, brother.
That just goes to show that regardless of how long you've been in the game, you can still make mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Folks, it's Friday. Thank God. As you can see, I am not alone today. I got a very special guest today, somebody that I have the honor and privilege to call friend, brother. He is a Marine Corps veteran. He's a podcaster, host of the Homefront Sit Rep podcast, also kind of the mastermind behind the Tip of the Spear. My friend, Mr. David Willis. David, good morning, brother.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
For the second or third
time. Man, I tell you, I'm okay. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I am struggling, which we kind of talked about just a minute ago. It's been a rough August into September, and
why is that? Why don't you, if you don't mind, let's get into the backstory as we did. I'm going to have you explain it again because I didn't hit the go live button.
No worries.
So tell everybody what was going on.
All right. So my company, I work for AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
We went on and I'm a union company, so we went on strike. It was it was a Friday, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Speaking of Friday, it was a Friday, I want to say August the 16th. At 3:00, we went on strike, unfair labor practice strike against AT&T for not bargaining in good faith when we were trying to negotiate our next contract. And we were out for 30 plus days. We've been back to work now 2 weeks. So, with being on strike, you get strike pay from the union, but you get a limited amount of money from the union. And luckily my local 3310 had a strike budget where they were giving us $100 a day. Every day we were out on the picket line, which it's okay money, but it's nowhere near what I was bringing in to pay for bills.
Right.
So right now, the wife and I were kind of struggling, trying to figure out how we're going to get our bills paid. Only saving graces. I've been out in the Marine Corps since 2004 and never went through the VA until last year.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm 40% rated. So if you know pay scale for that, then that's the only saving grace is that we have that money coming in now.
A little bit of help.
So that's a little bit of help, yeah.
And that, yeah, but the VA is it can be a beast to navigate.
It is.
It took me about 12 years to navigate through my stuff, and it's but yeah. So for those of you out there that are struggling with the VA, let me say this: stay with it.
Yes, don't give up. Don't give up.
Just stay with it. I'm sorry you're going through that, and I want to say thank you for sharing that and being open with us, about that, because as we all know, September is Suicide Prevention Month. We've talked about it. Check on your battle buddies. Check on your battle buddies. Been saying that all month, and I think, David, I think you'll agree with me with this. Is want to say it shouldn't just be. It should be every month, right? We should be checking on on our battle buddies. And I think that the thing is, it's as you separate from the military and you move on and do other things, you kind of lose touch with the people that you served with a little bit. And life, let's face it, life happens. Whether it's jobs, careers, families, what have you, you get pulled in different directions. But check on your battle buddies. And I want to say this too is it's okay. You hear that the saying, it's okay not to be okay, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of truth to that. I'll give you personal experiences. I always just say, I'm all right. I'm all right. Just kind of shrug out. Your pride gets in the way.
Yeah.
And and a lot of the times it's like, I don't want to burden somebody with my problems, make it sound like I'm complaining or this and that. And that's not necessarily healthy either. Like if you're feeling a certain way, talk to somebody that you trust about it, open up about it. And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised at how many people out there that are out there that really want to hear what you're going through and help you get through that. I had a friend of mine once tell me, he says, shame on you for keeping that to yourself. And I'm like, it's not your problem. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's all like, what if there are people out there whose purpose in life is to help others get through whatever's troubling them? You're denying them their purpose because you're too prideful to share whatever it is that you're going through. And that kind of hit me. Like, it makes a lot of sense when you hear it. Like,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So, and I think another problem is that we get like, oh, I'm gonna say this, and this person's gonna think differently of me or whatnot.
Yeah.
That's where you have to hit that light switch and just be like, I don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah. I think I hit that mark long time ago. Like I don't really care what people think of me. I guess I was never I never really cared. Like, there's some people always worry about what people think of them.
Mhm.
When I grew up, in a small town, and I could care less what the next person thought of me. Because the
Yeah,
way I look at it, you like me, you like me, you don't like me, you don't like me. And then, piggyback off what you were just saying, we on the home front sit rep, we always say, check on your friends, reach out to them, ask them how they're doing. But
yeah,
you always have to ask that next hard question. How
yeah,
are you really doing?
yeah,
And then you have to be ready for that conversation. It could be a 15-minute conversation, could be a 3-hour conversation, could be a 12-hour conversation. But you have to be ready for that, because us as veterans and most normal people out there, when you ask them how they're doing, even if they're struggling inside, they're going to say, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm living the dream. You just have to ask that next hard question. How are you really doing?
yeah. That's a good point. And if you know the person really well,
Yeah,
chances are you're gonna call them out on their BS.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
but
For sure.
that being said, again, check on your back. I challenge each and every one of you this weekend, starting today through the weekend, call your battle buddies. Call your battle buddies and check on them. Let them know you're there. And if they if they call you, let them know how you are. If they're calling to check on you, let them know how you're doing.
Agreed. Agreed. 100% agree.
What do we have here over in the Instagram world here? The Gold Shield Show. All my best boy. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you jumping on this morning. Thank you. Folks, if you're out there in the old interweb lands watching this, whether it's right now or later on, as most of you do throughout the weekend, leave a comment below. Let us know where you're at. Please, just leave a comment. Just say hello. That's all we want. Just say hello.
Yeah, just say hello. Come like us, follow us, share us.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, make sure you share this, because some of the stuff we're going to be talking about here, you know how I like to do it.
Hell yeah.
I like to stir that pot a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about this event I was at last week in Tampa, Florida, Team Addo. And man, I tell you, first off, a lot of friends and family in Florida right now. praying for all of you. The hurricane's going through there. Crazy. Hi from California. Thank you. Appreciate you over on the gram. I got out of Florida. I got out of the Tampa area. It looks like just in time, but I got a lot of friends and family down there, and I hope all you guys are okay.
I know they got no power right now.
Yeah, it is. It's getting nasty. It's getting nasty down there. But last weekend I was in Tampa for to support Team Addo. This year was their 8th annual. Had to look down.
You sure it ain't a Monday?
That's eighth annual. Trying to look at that. I'm spilling and sweating in here because I'm great. Such a great organization. So what they do is they do these. This was their big fundraiser event on a Friday night. They did an all heroes welcome ball, and this year they did a kind of a fashion show. I got up there with the founder James Boggs, great human. Excuse me, and we did a fashion show. We brought in some of the veterans that we had suited up over the last 2 years and had them walk the runway, had a runway, and got to see them in their suits and show people, hey, this is what your money's going to. It's to help these transitioning veterans. So you're taking off a uniform and we're giving you your new uniform. That's what Team Addo's veteran closet program is about. Now they also do resume writing, interview tactics, and whatnot, but it's just an all around great organization. This is my 5th year that I've got to participate in it. I went down volunteer this year, and it's always a good time meeting people, seeing old friends, and whatnot. And then Saturday, the following day, they did an All Heroes Open charity fishing tournament. So they took out, I think this year they took out 135 veterans
Nice.
out on the water they fish in the Bay Area, and it was such a good time. They do prizes for the most fish caught and biggest fish and so on. Anyway, just a great organization. I just strongly encourage everybody to go check out Team Addo. That's Team ADDO.com. If you would do that, give them a follow, that would be greatly appreciated. Last night, and of course I don't have my notes because I'm sitting here sweating. Last night I drove to Philly, about 2 hours from me, and I went to the West Point Army Temple football game. Sat in the press box. There was about what'd they say, just over 13,000 paid people there. Good times. Army, I tell you what, Army football, it's very hard hitting, run the ball. But their quarterback, this kid Daly, he's got an arm on him too, and he threw not for a lot, but the passes that they did throw connected, and they just had a phenomenal game. I think the final score ended up being 42-14. It was 14-0 at half at halftime. Temple just couldn't get it together until about the middle of the third quarter. But anyway, it was a later game. The game didn't start till 7:30. By the time I got out of there, it was 12:30. And yeah, I rolled in my house at about 2:30 this morning. So that's why we're a little off today. But I got to tell you, I went to the press conference afterwards, and then the coach, I got to see some of the players. The Army football, the academies, those are our future military leaders. And at West Point, they'll tell you, it's like there's not a lot of, these kids when they go there, they're not recruiting Division I, kids to go to West Point. This isn't, it's not a Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. type. These kids are giving up so much more because they want to serve their country afterwards. But the program that West Point puts together, you could take an okay athlete and put them through their program, but by the time they graduate, they're a really good athlete. It's phenomenal. I think what the coaching staff up there has done over the since they've been there. Quite frankly, I've had the privilege of covering several Army Navy games in the past with this head coach, and he just does a phenomenal job. And I think it's going to be a knock on wood. I think this is going to be a fun year to watch them. So if you're not, do so. We're going to be up at the West Point home game. I think October 18th. Don't quote me on the date, but we'll be up there. I think it's for Eastern Carolina or East Carolina, and then back up there for Air Force in November. So, and the reason why you see me doing a lot of this is we're working on a project with them. Hopefully, I'll be able to make more of an announcement coming up mid to end of October with what we're doing with them. So stay tuned for that. But I'm really excited about it because it's been a lot of fun. So shout out to West Point Army football. Thank you. This Sunday, there's going to be a special event live here on our Facebook page and from our friends at From the Farm. Go to fromthefarm.org. We are in a crisis with our food sovereignty and our food production, distribution, the whole nines. I've been promoting this a lot with working with your local ranchers and farmers, and you're going to learn a lot from the farm.org on Sunday night. What I say, David? 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight time because there's a bit of a difference. My friend AJ Richards, longtime friend AJ Richards, is going to be on. He's going to do about a 45-minute Q&A and talk about From the Farm. They're raising money. They raised I think it was $58,000 in a day for this new program and software that they're doing. So what they're wanting to do is that he's going to educate all of this on for Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But they're building a program where you can find local ranchers and farmers in your area and get connected with them. I think this is great. I used it. I went to AJ 2 years ago and asked him, "Hey man, I love what you're doing. What can I do? Educate me on this." So the last 2 years I've bought beef from a local rancher that's non-GMO, doesn't use steroids or grain fed or grass fed, excuse me, and then a bunch of other things that he asked me to ask the farmer, and it matched up. So we just bought our second cow a month ago, and we're picking up end of October. So I'm excited. And the food, the meat is just different when you buy a, and you've done this before. I think you and I've talked about this, David. Have we not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's way different. It's better too.
Yeah.
So when you go to a farmer and somebody who does, you can buy a whole cow, you can buy a half cow, you can buy a quarter cow. The meat doesn't have all the additives in it, don't have all the preservatives added into it. Like you can go out and buy a package of ground beef and then go to a farmer and get a package of ground beef and put them together and compare the two. The ground beef that you got from the farm is going to look 100 times better than the ground beef you got at the store. And then plus it's cheaper. I mean, I think you can buy, half a cow for, depending on the farm, for like $2,300.
Yeah.
And then you take that up and you add everything that you get, 60 pounds of hamburger, 10 T-bones and sirloin steaks and briskets. And you take all of that and add it up, what you paid for the cow and then what you would bought it for in the store, you're going to save way more than what you paid for the half.
Tell me where you're gonna buy a New York strip for basically $3.80. Because it's
You're
like,
not.
the hang weight's like $3.80, I think, is what we paid with the rancher that we did. It was like 50 cents more than what we paid last year, but it was like, we burned through the steaks. Because you're not, you go to like a fancy restaurant and you get a New York strip or a top sirloin or something like that. You're paying, 35, 40, sometimes $60 for the one piece of meat.
Yep.
I just, I paid I paid like $3,500 for a half a cow. And, I've got 15 New York strips now. Yeah. 12 Delmonico steaks, a brisket and stuff like that. So it's when you add it up, people don't realize how much money you save. Let me rephrase that. When you add it up, you'll see how much money you save if you're the ones that like to eat a lot of beef. And I like to eat a lot of beef. So
Same. I love red meat.
yeah.
But go check out, fromthefarm.org, because and it'll ask you when you log onto the website, put your zip code or address in, and it'll find a whole list of farmers that are close to you.
And if they're not there, and if you know a farmer, get the farmer or rancher in touch with them, because this is what they're building out right now. So it may not be on there yet. It will be. That's what their work is. One of the things they're working on. So get in touch with them. That's what we did with ours. Found the farmer here, told them about it, or excuse me, the rancher here, told them about it, and now they're on there. So it's it's just good community. That's what it's about. All right, Dave, let's move on here. I got a couple of headlines I want to go over real quick. This is funny, but it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer blames Costco for the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's what they say, right? He likes to buy bulk. That's what, man, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Federal prosecutors claim that Homeland Security found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. I'm trying to keep when they raided Diddy's mansions. Costco's spokesperson told the outlet, I think they told TMZ and another the Post, I think it was, that none of their U.S. locations even carry baby oil. So now I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I read somewhere where the Costco person then called Sam's Club, and Sam's Club is like, yeah, we don't sell baby oil in bulk.
Yeah,
or lube for that matter. There's so much is coming out, and like everything that we've been groomed the last 30 years is all coming to the forefront now, and we're starting to see like, oh shit, that's not what really happened. Or it's like, yeah, we kind of knew something like that was going on. It's just coming to the forefront right now.
No, it's going to get probably a lot worse for a lot of people.
I think 2024 has been the year of truth, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Right. Is that, is that safe to say? Like you're looking at it like, look at everything that has happened. And then you're like, no.
Yeah, a lot of truth is coming out, and I have a feeling it's going to get crazy.
What? And that's just it. It already has. Oh God.
Yeah.
Just like baby oil. I don't know what to tell you. I'll stop right there because you and I will go off on a tangent, and that's why we can't do that.
I've been calm. I've been keeping it.
He's looking in your face. I was just like, oh, he's gonna.
Well, I googled it I said, does Costco carry baby oil? Is what I put in Google, and you should see the shit that popped up. I'm just like, and the top story news about baby oil, Sean Diddy Combs, and it's just like there's like 8 pages that just popped up, like TMZ, Daily Mail, Page 6, Barstool Sports, New York Post, all have this as their top story right now.
He's Rich, what's up, brother?
And he says prices probably have gone up.
I was I was wondering what the stock looks like right now in like Johnson & Johnson's baby oil right now. Nothing against Johnson & Johnson. They're not a sponsor. It's, blah, blah, blah. I know somebody's going to get all bent hurt, so I got to say that shit. Anyway, moving on. Moving on from the baby oil. It's a slippery slope. We got to be careful.
Oh, hell. Damn it, Adam. Don't get me started.
I can't.
There you go. Rich says, how about them Black Knights?
Yeah, what a game last night, man. What a game. That was fun. Yeah, I think they're gonna 4-0. I can't remember when the last time Army started the season off 4-0. They got a couple of tough ones coming up though. Notre Dame is they're gonna be at Notre Dame, I think, at Notre Dame. So that'll be a tough one. But the rest of them, I think, if they keep playing and they stay healthy and they're playing the way they are, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll have a good year. So, yeah, let's move on from.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Next up, we got Army's top enlisted leader removed key guidance that required diversity to be considered when selecting individuals to serve in upper level non-commissioned officer positions. Now, that's according to a memo that was reviewed by military.com. What are your thoughts on this? And basically what they're saying is the Sergeant Major came out, said, hey, this is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. And then he took that section out. Like that's not necessarily required. Removed the guidance that required diversity to be considered. Yeah, I hear that the way that it's worded. I hear that, and I hear they're looking for the best person for the job. That's my interpretation of it. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's how I read that. I'm also hearing like this is what, So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we just talked about this on the Tip of the Spear with the other veteran podcasters and stuff, and I hear the same thing. I think they're looking for the best person for the job. And for me, if I'm sitting in a fighting hole and the person to the left or the right of me is somebody who got a job just because of race, religion, whatever, not because they were better certified or better qualified, then I'm going to be worried: is this person going to cover my 6 or not?
Yeah.
But now that this guy, he basically copied and pasted his predecessor, and only removed one line that said where diversity should be considered. I think it's. Yeah, I agree with Rich where he says it's about time. Far too long affirmative action or present terms were used.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's one of those things where it's like I've always been I don't care. I'm probably going to get some heat for this, and that's all right. I don't see color. I like to tell people I'm colorblind in that aspect. I don't care the color of your skin. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. And if whether you're a male or female, or whatever you recognize yourself as, if you're better for the job, then if it's between me and somebody else of a different race or gender, and they're a better fit for the job, then they should get that job, rightfully so.
Yeah, I'm like you, where I don't see color
I
when
don't
it comes to a job. Now, I do see color when it comes to celebrating their culture, their heritage, and stuff like
oh,
that.
yeah, right.
But in the job force, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, whatever.
Yeah.
It's about who's better for the job.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies have, gone to that diversity thing. Oh, well, we need a leadership force that's so much percentage of minority, so much percentage of this. And it's just like, if they're better for the job, then go for it. But it just puts a lot of people, up there in higher ranks that are not suited for the job. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me turn that down. I'm getting a little feedback. So I thought that one was interesting. The other one that I thought that was interesting was the command chief of the 81st Training Wing at the Kessler Air Force Base in Mississippi was removed from his leadership role this week following an internal investigation. I didn't go into any more than that, other than the fact that I am seeing, or it seems like there's something that's going on in our military recently, and I'll say recent as in within the last 18 months. We're starting to see a lot more real leaders getting removed from positions, because this just happened like a week or two ago out at a Marine Corps recruiting
in San Diego, yeah.
Diego, right? So I mean, what is going on? Yeah, loss of trust. What's happening in our military that we're having these issues right now?
Yeah, it's a trend. I mean, it's all over the place where all these senior staff non-commissioned officers are getting removed. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, somebody got butt hurt because they didn't do it their way or whatnot, or did they do something stupid? And like the Marine out in San Diego, did he haze somebody? I mean, he got arrested. So I mean, he did something. I don't know what he did because the report didn't come out or anything. But it's crazy that it is a trend right now.
Yeah, and it's I think we're just in a big change, and it's been happening the last several years. You see, I'll use Army basic training. Somebody told me they don't do shark attacks anymore because that was an era of they started that in the era of the Vietnam where people were drafted, so they were there because not by choice, right? So now they're trying to switch things up, and I don't want to see be a kinder and gentler military. Oh, what do we got here, Rich? Some are pretty obvious. Yeah, it's. I think it's twofold. I think one could argue that um, certain things have gone on in the military for so long that they've just kind of swept under the rug. Not saying that's what it is. I'm saying one could speculate that. Let me be clear on that. And the other is that they're just trying to change the dynamics of how things are done because the roles might be changing or are changing moving forward. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go with that. And with that being said,
Oh,
okay, because I know we'll get bombarded with that one. Let's get to know David, everybody. Let's get to know David. Who is David Willis? This man that is with me today. Dave, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
all right. I was born and raised in Kentucky. Lived in the small town of Barstown, which is where 90% of the world's bourbon was made at one time. Now it seems like everywhere is popping up bourbon distilleries. So I grew up in Barstown. Mom, it was a single mom, 4 kids. My brother died in '94 at the age of 10. I joined the Marine Corps in '97. I was 0311 infantry ground pounder. So I served until 01. I got out on terminal leave August of 01. August or September 1st, I was EAS'd out of the Marine Corps. 9/11 happened, got recalled back in, went to a mobilization support battalion down in at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and deployed from there. Got out in 2004. Like most military veterans, I lost that sense of camaraderie. I lost that sense of purpose. And so that's when I started doing volunteering at different veteran service organizations around my local area. And, I did that I'm still doing it 20 years later, still doing it. But I'm not as heavily involved in the veteran charity world right now for the simple fact that the last VSO that I was with, I was on the board, and the founder did me pretty dirty. It was all about him. He's one of those narcissistic people. He's got that narcissistic tendencies. So everything was pretty much about him.
Yeah.
And he started pushing me out of my project, which is something that was near and dear to me. We were trying to do a tiny home community for homeless veterans in the city of Louisville. And when we brought it over to said organization, there's legal things going on, so I can't say what organization, but he took over the project pretty much and ran with it and started pushing me out. And there's just a lot of other things that went on between uh, him saying he didn't like my wife and all this other crazy stuff that went on. And so I resigned from there. December 23rd of 2020, I resigned. And I was like, what am I going to do with myself? Because I started going down that rabbit hole like most veterans do.
Yeah.
And demons started creeping in, and I was like, I need to do something. So I was like, all right, let's do a podcast. So I bought the equipment, the microphones, the cameras, the computer, everything that I needed for a podcast. And it just sat here in the basement because I was wallowing in my own misery at the time. And finally, something just clicked. I don't know what it was. I don't want to say the man upstairs clicked. Let's just put it that way. He clicked and said, "Hey, this is what you need to do." So I dove into podcasting, and it's been a lifesaver. I will honestly tell you, if I didn't start the podcast, I probably hadn't. I wouldn't have went through the VA like I did,
Right.
because me doing a podcast telling people, "Hey, you need to go to the VA and get rated. You need to go to the VA and get checked out," made me go to the VA and get checked out because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I was like,
Right.
I can't be telling people to go to the VA and get checked out and get rated if I'm not doing it. So
Kind of
that's
funny how that stuff works, isn't it?
yeah, it
You sit
is.
there and you do stuff for so long, and you're like, man, I'm telling everybody else to do this, and I haven't done it myself.
Hmm.
So what's the name of the podcast?
So the podcast name is Homefront Sit Rep.
Now, how'd you come up with that name?
So Homefront, the way I look at Homefront is it's America, it's us, it's veterans, and then Sit Rep is a situation report, which is what we did in the military. Basically, we assess the situation, that hence the name Sit Rep. So for me, that's the situation report for our Homefront veterans and transitioning military members.
And how often are you doing shows for Homefront Sit Rep?
So we go live on Sundays and Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. I am looking for two other motivated veterans that want to bring back my Tuesday, Thursday shows. I had two guys that were doing my Tuesdays and Thursdays, but they moved on to a different project.
Mhm.
So we're looking for Tuesdays and Thursdays now. For
There you
two.
go. So if you're a veteran out there and you're looking, opportunities knocking on your door right now. David's bringing out Tuesday, Thursday, Homefront Sit Rep crew. Now you also or you're the mastermind behind Tip of the Spear.
Yes.
Which is a kind of a round table where you have a lot of us get together. I say us because I'm horrible at getting on, but I do watch the shows. But it's the last Wednesday of every month.
Yes.
You bring in and I've watched that thing grow for the last 6-8 months, however long it's been now. It's been crazy to see how much that has grown. Talk a little bit about that.
So, Tip of the Spear, when I started talking with Rich LaMonica, who's in chat, and all these other veteran podcasters, I was like, hey, this is an ideal that I got. I want to bring all of us veteran podcasters into a forum and talk about what's currently going on within the military community and the veteran communities, and also what's going on global. And it's a no holds bar. So, like on my podcast, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about religion. But on Tip of the Spear, it's an open forum where we can talk about anything. And
Nice.
the good thing about it is, your opinion might differ from my opinion, or Ty's opinion might differ, or Rich's opinion, or Matt's, whoever's on there. And the premise behind it, we have, I think right now we started out with 5, and I think we're sitting at like 14 different veteran podcast hosts on that show. And the whole premise is like, if I can't make it, somebody fills my spot, or if Adam can't make it, somebody fills his spot. So,
And this past, I mean, there was Travis Parrington from Oscar Mike was on the other night. You got the
yeah,
free
Brian Roof.
of the boys over there. I mean, there was a bunch of people on, and I think the cool thing about it is I was listening to it when I was driving. It was guys and gals podcasts, they'll pop in for a couple of minutes, stay on, for a segment or two, and then roll out. So you got people that come in and out during the show, and I think it's pretty cool, and it's been pretty special to be a part of it. So
Yeah, and then we might even have special guests jump on. Like we had Theory, Marine Corps rapper Theory. Ryan Dorfield's his real name, but he goes by Theory. He wasn't doing anything. He said, "Hey, man, I want to jump on." So I sent him the link, and he jumped on. So you
nice.
never know who might pop in.
Instagram, we got Grease Bastard. And there's somebody I haven't heard of. Adam, you're looking in good shape today. A nice round shape. I wouldn't expect any less from him. The camera adds
Yeah.
50 pounds. Let's talk about most recent Homefront Sit Rep podcast. We're gonna get into the shows now, folks. As we transition into the shows, David's gonna kick us off. What was the most recent Homefront Sit Rep podcast?
We had some really good ones. So we had Lauren Burns was she was on our Sunday episode.
Okay.
Her story, at 7 years old, she was kidnapped by her father, who was a Jordanian citizen. So her and her husband were married, or her dad and mom was married.
Okay.
They got a divorce. She was kidnapped at the age of 7 years old and was taken back to Jordan. And the US government and State Department told mom that they couldn't do anything to get their daughter back, or her daughter back.
No.
So she hired a company called CTU, which is no longer CTU, it's something else now, which was all the veterans, it's filled with all the veterans. Veterans founded, they did it.
Yeah.
They went over to Jordan, rescued this young lady, took her across the border and into Israel, and then back to the United States. Now, 31 years later, she's does a podcast called Redeemed. She just had a meet and greet with the guys that rescued her for the first time in 31 years.
Really?
Yes.
How
So,
so?
and she said that went amazing. These guys were, now they're in their 70s and 80s. And she said it was amazing meeting those guys for the first time.
That's crazy, man.
And
I feel like that's a movie, or they've made a movie about
they
that.
did make a movie
I was
about
gonna
it.
say, okay, what was the movie?
So the name of the movie is called Desperate Rescue: The Kathy Mahone Story.
Oh,
And
wow.
it came out in 1993 when the movie came out. So this happened in 87 when she was kidnapped. The movie came out in 93.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was super cool. Within the first, I mean, if you go back and look at it right now, we had over 2,400 plays on that video already on that episode. It's just crushing it. And Lauren is so sweet. She's amazing. Um, so yeah, go check it out. You can go, on Homefront Sit Rep on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and you can see that episode there. And then on Monday, the last episode we just did was with Mended Sparrow.
Okay.
So they're in Virginia. It's an equine assisted therapy program for veterans. Um, Shanaz is the female that's Navy veteran. Her husband Wayne is a Navy veteran. They both run this program. It Mended Sparrow is amazing. They have right now 10 horses that they can bring veterans out and they teach horsemanship. They do equine assisted learning, and then they're getting ready to start an equine psychotherapy program.
Oh, wow.
So it's real intense. But if you know anything about equine therapy with horses and humans in general, don't have to be veterans, but um, your heart syncs together. The horse's heart and your heart sync together, and that bond is unbreakable. I mean, I used to have horses when I was younger, and uh, if you leave a horse, let's say you've been around a horse for 6 months,
Mhm.
and you leave for 2 years and come back, that horse knows exactly who you
Yeah.
are. So,
I took a horse here, Worth it Hollow in southern Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Worth it Hollow. Um, I did a horsemanship class there for about a year and a half, and it was awesome. I loved it.
oh,
Absolutely love it. It's fun.
yeah, it's amazing. Just I love outdoor therapy, and equine therapy kind of plays into that because you're outside.
Yeah.
But man, it's amazing just to build that bond with a horse, to build that trust, because there's a lot of people that are scared of horses. And horses know, they're very
Pick up
intuitive.
on it.
Yeah.
They pick up on it. It's yeah. I mean, I could sit there and talk for an hour about horses. I absolutely love it. David, thank you. We got to get into the rest of the shows. You're more than welcome to stay on with us on this. We're going to shoot through these, what you missed on the shows, on the other podcasts this week. Folks, those of you that are watching, you can always check out all the shows. Simply go to heroesmediagroup.com, click on podcasts. You'll see a list of all the podcast shows that we have here on the network. First up in the queue, we got or next up, I should say, next up in the queue, we got the strategic veteran this week, retired U.S. Army Sergeant Brian Fleming. Shares his awe-inspiring story from surviving multiple near-death experiences in Afghanistan to becoming a global speaker and author after enduring severe injuries from an IED and a suicide bomber attack. His recovery involved a 14 months of burn treatment, reconstructive surgeries, and emotional healing. His mission is to help trauma survivors rebuild their lives by using the power of storytelling. It's a pretty cool episode. Make sure you check it out. It's called The Strategic Veteran. Next up, the JMAC podcast, their most recent one, U.S. Navy veteran Samba and partner Kelly. They are founders of Green Spirits Healing. It's a veteran-owned wellness collective and a nonprofit plant medicine slash psychedelics. I'm seeing a lot of, again, it seems to be kind of a thing the last, 2-3 years now. You're seeing a lot more psychedelics and I don't want to say earthly healings, but you know, plant-based stuff more of. It's been interesting to learn, to say the least. Next up, I'm sorry. So that's JMac podcast. Check that out. Next up, our friends over at Senior Living Guide. Go to seniorlivingguide.com. This week they dive into crucial distinctions between heart attacks and cardiac arrests. I honestly, I thought they were the same thing, and shamefully, I should be ashamed because my wife works at a hospital. This week's guest, Joel Holly. Joel is an experienced occupational therapist, assistant, and CPR instructor. Brings his wisdom and practical knowledge to the conversation. They explore life-saving techniques of hands-only CPR, proper hand placement, and the importance of compression depth. This was a pretty interesting episode, and he talks a little bit about how they do it with seniors and what you need to be careful about, and so on. Senior Living Guide, check it out. Next up, Patriots Inside the Wire. Tracy Two Steps, Gold Star mother. This week, they're talking about what is a Gold Star family? Who are they and why? Did that episode last night live on their Facebook page, Patriots Inside the Wire. You can go check that out now. Next up, Bump in the Road. 2 episodes, most recent one, Shannon Easton, hope I said that right, aka the lady ref. She was the first female ref in the NFL. Pretty cool story, actually. And then Angelina Maxwell, she literally walked around the earth. And some of the stories that she tells was pretty amazing in that episode as well. Bump in the Road, check it out. Love that podcast. One of the HMG's OG shows, The Arms Room Show. This week they're talking about optic selection. All you hunters out there, you may want to pay attention to this one. Is it really all about the money? Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'll spend $1,200 on an optic and not blink twice. But if I got to fix something in my car, I'd be like,
It can wait later.
I got to say something about the Arms Room Show. Like I said, they're the OG. They're one of the original shows of Heroes Media Group, and that whole crew over there. If you ever get an opportunity to train with Independence Training, Glenn and Drew and the entire crew, John and everybody over at Mason, they do a fantastic job. I love training with them. They're just good people, and the thing about their programs is, like, most training companies, they do the basics. It's a 3-hour class. These guys will do 6-8 hours and really get involved and make sure you're comfortable, whether it's shooting. And here's the thing, I'm talking shooting because that's what I've taken a lot of or I've done a lot of shooting with them, but they do a lot of like dirt medicine, first aid type stuff, life saving techniques that you are not going to find anywhere else. And they travel the country teaching that stuff. Get in touch with them. The Arms Room Show, follow them. You'll love them. Check it out. Next up, Misfit Nation podcast. They do a couple of shows each week. This particular one, we're hitting up the Tuesday crew. Jake and somebody, they welcome Jamaica Witten, journalist by trade, branding consultant, and publicist by choice. Owner of JSW Media Group. It's a boutique public relations and brand management agency based in Charlotte, North Carolina. With over 20 years of experience in the new media, publishing, brand management, and strategic communications, she has cultivated strong ties with the music, entertainment, sports, and fashion industries. This is pretty cool. Love it. Misfit Nation podcast. Check them out. Like I said, Rich is there. He is. Yeah. You want to talk about a man that, like, is a workhorse when in this industry.
Yeah,
The guy's got. I think the guy's got shows into 2028 already recorded. I mean, this guy's he's a workhorse, and I love it. I love it. Good dude too. She worked at ESPN. Is a Southern vegan.
What is a Southern vegan?
I know what a vegan is, but Southern vegan. Maybe she's just like the collard greens and like beans. I love. Oh yeah, interesting. Jeremy Daniels, thank you. We see you, brother. Thank you for being present. Misfit Nation podcast, check it out. And they're live. Like I said, they're live a couple times a week on their social platforms. Next up, we got probably the hardest working woman in the podcast industry, our friend Deanna from Label Free Podcast. This week, Mike Literal. He is the president and founder of X3 Sports. It's a unique training center based in Georgia that offers a diverse range of fitness classes for all ages and experience levels. He shares his inspiring journey from growing up in a large family in Iowa to discovering his passion for fitness and combat sports. I mean, who doesn't love combat sports, right? As the conversation unfolds, Mike reveals his plans for the future, including the expansion of X3 Sports and helping other fitness business owners thrive. He also discusses the X3 Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing after-school programs and scholarships for underserved communities. I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Check it out. Label Free Podcast. Stay with me, folks. We got a few more left. Next up, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. They do a couple of shows each week as well. This past week, Joel Grant shares a story about his beginnings and where he is now. There are so many impacts caused by broken bonds, but a military brother or sister separation due to a disagreement in political or ideology differences can leave a void in one's life. Oh, that's sad. I hate that. Just because you don't agree with somebody's political views or ideology on something, I get it. That's tough. But he shares his story. And then he also talks about he is a musician and sums it all up with a phrase: divided by ignorance, united by music. That's pretty cool. People's Patriot Project, check it out. Next up, other side of the firewall. This week, this particular one is their weekly wrap-up. The range of topics from sports updates, personal growth, business education, Halloween plans, latest gaming experiences. This show does a show every single day, Monday through Friday. Very consumable, about 12 to 20 minutes long. Check it out. If it's anything AI tech related, these guys and gals know about it. Check it out. Other side of the firewall. Good stuff. Next up, we got the Joel Evans show. This week, Roberta, a medical intuitive and quantum healer. They explore her journey into quantum healing and the significance of presence in healing and the transformative experiences with her clients. Roberta shares her unique approach to healing, emphasizing the importance of connecting with the quantum field and the understanding the root cause of health issues. Very interesting. I've never heard of quantum healing before, so I learned a lot from this one. It's called the Joel Evans Show. Check it out. Let me see here. Next up, we got Because Bikers Matter podcast with our man David, aka Vegas Schumann. He welcomes Dr. Mike Akimo back to the show. He's a dedicated dentist with a passion for serving veterans. Listen, they talk about an event that they do. They did it last year in November, where he does dental stuff for. This is their 4th year It's their fourth this year on Veterans Day. They have 14 offices that are participating with over 100-person team, aiming to provide more than $100,000 worth of free dental care for veterans. Now, this is in Illinois. So if you're in the Illinois area, jump on this. If you need this, they did this last year. It was awesome. We're trying to get up there so we can talk to some of these guys. I'm meeting up with David here in a couple of weeks out in Vegas. This was a really cool show, and I'm glad that they're bringing this back again this year, because Bikers Matter podcast. Check it out. Next up, we got MSEC podcast from our friends over at Military Child Education Coalition. This week, Dr. Jessica Melendez Carlillo. She's the principal at Congressman Silvertier and Carolina Reyes Elementary School in El Paso, Texas. They had a wonderful conversation about the connections that can be made made in the area with unique culture like El Paso. And if anybody's ever been down to El Paso, it is unique down there, on how military families are being supported by every community. It's good stuff. MSEC podcast, go check it out. I got to say this. I say it every week. If you are a veteran, Guard, Reserve, or active duty, and you have children that are in the home at school age, go check out militarychild.org. A slew of information and resources for military families. Absolutely love this organization. Go check it out. Last but not least, Chasing Happiness with host Ryan Dement talks about the art of time management and how its powerful impact on overall happiness. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by life's demands and you're having trouble juggling work, family, personal time, well, you're not alone. You're not alone. Brian's going to dive into how you can shift your routine that can significantly improve your well-being and productivity. Alibi, one more. Last up, Rise Up Voices from the Front Line. This week, Latasha Jameson, an author, teacher, coach, and motivational speaker, shares her inspiring journey from a traumatic childhood, highlighting by an early academic achievements, family turmoil, and deep love for reading. She is the author of a memoir called Secrets from My Closet. She now helps other women over 40 navigate their own healing journeys through group coaching. This is cool. Check it out. Rise Up Voices from the Front Line. That's it. That's all for the show. Shout out to my tax fella, JB Auto Clothiers, Forget Genetics, Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, Home Studio Mastery with our man Junaid, Freedom People, Sisu Stamina, Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle, Warriors on the Water LTD, and then our sister company, HMG Beverage. Go check it out. And it's special thanks to my man David for stepping up when he knew I was struggling this morning to get things going.
No worries, brother. No worries.
I appreciate it, man. Folks, well, let me say this. David, any parting words?
No, man, I just want to say, like you said earlier in the show, check on your battle buddies, man. Check on your little ones, too. Prime example, my daughter, who is now a junior, her fifth grade year, she almost committed suicide because of the bullies at school. So you have to check on your little ones, man. They struggle. Today's kids are no joke, man. So check on your little ones, check on your battle buddies, and you just got to ask that next hard question: how are you really doing?
Amen.
That's pretty much it, man.
Amen. I appreciate you, brother, for being on today. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, folks. That's it. That's all the time we have. Go check on your battle buddies this weekend. Shut the computer off. Don't get the 45-degree syndrome and the scrolling. Put the phone down. I challenge you to put the phone down for at least 2 hours this weekend. Get outside, unless you're in Florida or somewhere where it's raining. But and that being said, everybody down in Florida, praying for you guys. God, I hope you guys are okay down there. Seriously. Rest of you, get outside, get off the phones, protect your minds, protect your thoughts. God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you guys right back here next week. Take care.